Hello, in this video I am going to go over how to find different summary statistics involving a set of data. And on my StatCrunch screen here I have from a featured data set the Major League Baseball August 2019 batting data set. So in order to find these summary stats, once we have the data in here, like I do, I'm going to do the summary statistics of the at-bat column on here. We are going to go to Stat, Summary Stats, and then Columns. I'm going to choose the column that I want for this, which is going to be the at-bat one. And underneath Statistics here, we have a whole wide variety of options that we could choose. This first one, N, is for the sample size. That'll just tell us how big the data set is if we didn't already know that. The mean calculates the mean or average of the data. The variance is the sample variance, meaning the one with the n-1 degrees of freedom. The standard deviation is the sample standard deviation, again utilizing that n-1 degrees of freedom. We have standard error, which we're not going to use in this class. Median, that's the center of the data when putting the data from smallest to largest. The range takes the maximum minus the minimum value to find that. And then the minimum is the smallest data value, max is the highest data value. Q1 is the one that calculates the first quartile, Q3 would be that third quartile. The sum just adds up everything, which we would not need for this particular section. IQR calculates the interquartile range of Q3 minus Q1. Unadjusted variance is the population variance, just like unadjusted standard deviation is the population standard deviation. We are not going to use coefficient of variance, or skewness, or kurtosis. Mode, that one just being the most frequently used data value. And those are the more specific ones that we would be using in this course. If we want to designate any percentiles, we can include those. For underneath this other statistic, in one portion of one of the homework assignments, you will need to find something known as the trimmed mean. In this case, you would use for that, inside of this other statistic box on here, you would type this, parenthesis sum, and then open parenthesis again, whatever the actual column, whatever the column is, which in this case we're just going to denote with an X. So sum of X, and then close parentheses, minus the minimum of X, minus the maximum of X. And this will be divided by the size of the data set, which is going to be this count of X, but since we're getting rid of two values, we're going to subtract 2. Since the definition of the trimmed mean is the mean without the lowest and highest data values. And then we would hit this compute button to find those values. Which again, for example, if I wanted the mode, that was 5, and if I wanted the trimmed mean, that's 195.9 about. If we wanted to compare that with some of these others, let's just compare with just the regular mean. Notice the regular mean was 196.13, and when we got rid of the highest and lowest data values, it slightly went down a little bit to 195.92, so not too bad. But that's how to find different summary stats here inside of StatCrunch. And also, please do note, yes, you can select more than one of these. you can either hit shift and that'll select all of the options between from where it was to where you're pointing it. So for example, if I click on standard error here, it's going to select all of those. Or I could just hit the control button and then just choose whichever ones I want. And then hit compute and it'll give us those values. Thank you.